6 months after her husband disappeared, Rose Chase faced the cameras and quietly said, "Adam, if you're watching this, please come back home. Your family misses you." Her tone sounded calm, controlled, almost too prepared. Behind closed doors, her version of events never changed. Rose claimed that after a heated argument, Adam walked out of the house and warned her she wouldn't see him again until he was ready. She said he left everything behind: his phone, his belongings, even his family. Detectives didn't rush to challenge her account. Instead, they watched carefully as the story unfolded. Then Adam's phone suddenly started sending texts. "Staying with a friend in Canandaigua, need time to think." The messages went through, but every call was ignored. That's when investigators noticed the cracks beginning to form. In interrogations, truth usually stays consistent. Lies have to keep adapting. Rose trusted her story would survive scrutiny, but she never expected the digital evidence to start asking questions her explanation couldn't answer. Welcome back to the channel. Even one comment from you keeps this journey going. Even in that carefully delivered statement, something feels slightly off. Her eyes wander. Her posture appears controlled, almost practiced, like she's following a script only she can see. The words themselves sound appropriate, but the emotion behind them never truly connects. That subtle disconnect becomes the first quiet signal that the story being presented to the public may not reflect what actually happened. Upstate New York, Ontario County, June 2012. Early summer settles over the region with long daylight hours, warm afternoons, and cool nights where people still leave windows cracked open. Life feels routine: work, family, errands, until suddenly, normal life stops altogether. Friday, June 15, 2012. Adam Chase's mother, Sylvia Chase, can no longer ignore the silence. Adam is 31 years old and nearly 2 days have passed without any contact, something that immediately feels wrong. Sylvia reaches out to her daughter-in-law, Rose, but the explanation she hears unsettles her. Rose claims Adam left after an argument and never returned. No phone calls, no updates, just gone. To Sylvia, it doesn't sound like Adam at all. And when instinct starts sounding alarms, families do what they have to do. She contacts law enforcement. Ontario County investigators open a missing persons case and speak with Rose directly. She remains composed, maybe too composed, explaining that Adam walked away after their fight without taking any essentials. Then she adds a detail investigators can't ignore. Adam supposedly told her she wouldn't see him again until he decided otherwise. But Adam left behind his phone, personal belongings, and there's no activity in the couple's shared bank account. To detectives, the situation immediately feels unstable. A man disappears without money, without communication, without a trace. That's not someone cooling off after an argument, that's a warning sign. As investigators dig deeper, more of the background emerges. Adam and Rose were high school sweethearts, married young, together for nearly 10 years, raising a child. Adam's co-workers describe him as dependable and steady, not someone who would simply vanish. But the marriage had become strained and the tension centered around one person, Mark. Just 1 week before Adam disappeared, Adam's sister received a photo showing Rose kissing Mark in a park. When Sylvia confronted her about it, Rose dismissed the situation, claiming Mark was only a friend and insisting she believed he was gay. Sylvia didn't believe her. She forwarded the photo to Adam on June 12th, and the conflict inside the marriage intensified. Still, according to Rose, the couple attempted to repair things on June 14th. They both skipped work to spend the day trying to fix their relationship. Instead, the day reportedly ended with another argument and Adam walking away from the house. Then the case takes a strange turn. On June 18th, just days after Adam vanished, Rose contacts investigators and Sylvia with dramatic new information. She says she returned home and found a typed note attached to the refrigerator that read, "Need to talk." She also claims Adam's phone, charger, computer, clothes, and a suitcase have suddenly disappeared, though his car is still parked outside. The timing feels almost too perfect, too cinematic, like the disappearance suddenly gained a new storyline. Deputies arrive at the Chase residence that same night. Rose cooperates and walks them through the home. The house appears cluttered and poorly maintained, but one area stands out immediately: the basement, dark, damp, and carrying a strong foul odor. Rose quickly explains it away, saying rodents had eaten poison, died down there, and decomposed. Investigators do find dead rodents and bats, enough to partially support her explanation, yet the smell remains fixed in their minds like a question they can't shake. Police distribute missing person flyers and the community joins the search. Adam's family pleads publicly for answers. "If you can hear this, you have a place to come home to. Call me, email me, just come home." Rose also speaks publicly, once again using words that sound right on the surface. "Adam, if you're seeing this, please come home to your family. They really do miss you." She urges anyone with information to contact the Ontario County Sheriff's Office so the family can know Adam is safe. But something about her delivery feels disconnected, like she's acting out concern instead of genuinely feeling it. Tips and sightings eventually lead nowhere. Then unexpectedly, Adam reappears not physically but digitally. His family receives a text message claiming he's staying with a friend in Canandaigua and needs time to think. Rose receives a similar message. Another text later appears from a different area in Canandaigua. Investigators trace every signal from the phone following each ping, but discover no Adam, no witnesses, no evidence he was ever there. Calls continue going unanswered. Soon the phone goes dark entirely. The texts begin to feel less like proof of life and more like a carefully staged illusion contact without presence. As the official investigation loses momentum, the Chase family hires Rodney Miller, a former Ontario County deputy and longtime family friend, hoping he can push further than investigators have. Miller returns to the place suspicion always circles back to the house. Rose once again allows access. Once again, nothing obvious is found, but Miller pays attention to details others overlook, inconsistencies, timelines, behavior, and the growing sense that the truth isn't hiding where everyone has been searching. Then, on December 13, 2012, exactly 6 months after Adam disappeared, the case explodes wide open. Not because of forensic evidence or a random tip, but because of a frantic phone call from a man who sounds overwhelmed by adrenaline. 911, what's your emergency? Get me Sheriff Povereau immediately. Sir, what's happening? I found Adam Chase, I know where the body is. Please have the sheriff call me right now. Dispatch asks for the address and Miller turns toward Rose for the answer. But the address given is not the Chase residence. It's 2215 M Road, the home of Rose, Chase's mother. In that instant, the missing person narrative changes completely. This is no longer the story of a man who walked away from his life. It becomes something far darker, a disappearance that may have had a destination all along. And as investigators prepare to question Rose again, the question is no longer whether Adam will ever return home, but whether Rose ever expected the truth to be uncovered in the first place. By this point, investigators already understand what happened, but Rose has no idea they do. The beginning of this conversation isn't built around direct accusations, it's built around control. By calmly asking how Adam's body was transported, detectives push her into mentally revisiting the crime scene step by step. That isn't simple curiosity, it's calculated psychological pressure. The moment a suspect begins explaining the details of moving a body, the appearance of innocence quietly starts to disappear.
Taking him out of the house, did you cut him up or anything? Did you need any tools or anything? Or
No.
Because if you did, where would those be?
He just fell apart.
Okay, all right. How long had he been there?
He'd been there about 6 to 8 weeks.
Okay. So when we were in there the night that we came over, me and Investigator Durgan,
Yes.
where in the basement was he?
The part that I told you the light wouldn't work.
Mm-hmm.
I had skids along the wall,
Mm-hmm.
and he was underneath all that stuff that was in that corner.
How'd you get him there?
I dragged him.
By yourself?
Mm-hmm.
And he's a pretty big guy. And, you know, when somebody can't move, it's hard to move.
It was very difficult.
Okay.
I will admit it was difficult.
Okay. What, Mark doesn't know anything about this?
He found out tonight
Okay.
when
Was he involved in any portion of getting Adam out of the house?
no. I did not want him to.
What precipitated all this? I mean, obviously, you know, his boss talked to him early that morning, 9:30,
Mhm.
right? The day that he called into work, is that when this happened?
Yes.
Okay. Well, what happened?
Him and I called into work so this way we could work things out.
Okay.
He went back to sleep after he called up his boss.
Okay.
I tried waking him up. It took me a while, but he finally got up. He went upstairs to grab a smoke. Then he started to go on the computer, and I thought we were going to talk about this. Started arguing again about the fact that Mark kissed me, and I go, yes, it was only a kiss. And he goes, well, you told me last night that we're going to get a DNA test done on Tristan. I told him then no need, Tristan's not yours. He got furious, punched the wall.
Okay, and that was the hole that we saw, right?
I went to grab him. He did push me away. I went to grab him again, and I don't know if he tried to push me away again or if I tried to grabbed him wrong, but his foot caught the stairs and he tumbled down the stairs.
Okay.
To the side. And he rolled down the stairs. He rolled down the stairs and just laid there. I don't remember him falling forward. I don't remember him falling back. I just remember him falling to the side. I paused. I go, Adam, you? And then he started to wet himself.
Okay.
I panicked. I didn't know if any of the neighbors heard anything.
He started wetting himself after? It was about 5 minutes?
It's about 5 minutes afterwards.
He started wetting himself. Did you think that was any indication of he could have still been alive, or?
I don't know.
Did you maybe, when you started doing that, you kind of thought, did you shake him again, Brian, or Adam? Or you just assumed it was,
after he let himself, I assumed he was arguing in this room. And when he gets up, after I told him about Tristan, he punches the wall, starts to walk away. I grabbed him by the arm. He pushed me away.
Which arm?
It'd have to be this arm. His left.
Okay, so is he facing you at this point?
No, he was walking away. I grabbed him by his left arm. He takes his right arm. He was at the top. He was on the, let's see, you got right here. There's a little platform before you go up the stairs. He's right here.
So he already made it down one portion of the stairs is on the platform.
Because I remember it was a sunny day and the light was coming in from the window right there. So I grabbed him. He went to push me away again. That's when his right foot caught the edge of the stairs and he just tumbled.
How many stairs are on that second point from that platform to the ground? Approximately.
12?
Okay, so it's a longer flight.
Mm-hmm. I want to say 12. I'm not exactly sure.
How many times did he tumble? Or did he tumble at all? Did he slide down?
No, he tumbled. I know he tumbled, but I don't know how many times he tumbled. His head on the door. Door was open.
Which door? At the bottom of the stairs or the top?
At the bottom of the stairs.
Okay.
The door was open, but it wasn't open all the way.
Mm-hmm. So other than going to check on him, did you ever, I mean, obviously we didn't get any 911 calls. You checked for a pulse, you didn't feel one. You took him down to the basement. He was there for how long? Do you figure? I mean, the day that
this happened
is the day that he calls into work, just to work. June 14th?
June 14th.
Okay.
When I got him into the basement, I was exhausted from moving him, so I left him at the bottom of the stairs.
Okay.
The following day, I got Tristan on the bus.
Okay.
and went to the bank. Sylvia called me and said that she talked to the sheriff, that he wanted to talk to me.
Mm-hmm.
So I went back to the house in a panic. Saw Adam just laying there, and I didn't want the sheriff to see him there because I knew he would arrest me right on the spot.
Mm-hmm.
So that little corner cut out of the wall, I thought about putting him in there. I went in there, checked it out, was going to put him in an area in the dirt.
Mm-hmm.
But when I went to move him, I couldn't really lift him that far.
Mm-hmm.
So I was still panicking.
By now.
So I actually dragged him by his feet into the lower part
Okay.
of the basement, got him so this way he was cross-legged like this, and I struggled to get him into this position.
Okay.
And that's when I put the tarp. That's when I put everything
Okay.
on top of it.
Anything more than a tarp? I mean, plastic?
No, it was my son's kiddie pool
Mm-hmm.
that he was originally over top of him. I had all the skids of stuff surrounding him. Then I put long pieces of board over top of that, and I made it look like a table.
Just to clarify a couple of things. His cell phone. You send those text messages?
I did.
Okay. The laptop computer, where'd that go?
I got it out of my house.
Okay. The note that was hung up on the fridge is, if this was him falling down the stairs, why do we go through all this? I mean, what do we go through all this for? Help me figure this out, because
At first, I thought everyone was going to think it was a murder.
mm-hmm.
That I offed him on purpose. And then after I hit the body, and the dogs came in, I thought I got pretty lucky. I was going to turn myself in several times,
Mm-hmm.
but the thing that kept shying me away from turning myself in was how his family acted.
Mm-hmm. So what do you mean by that?
As in, what they were doing was, pissing me off.
Mm-hmm.
How about they were, saying that I did all this stuff without physical evidence, and it really pissed me off, and I just wanted.
So this drags on mostly because of their treatment of you after this happens?
Correct.
So then why would you think that we would think you murdered him? I mean, we were talking about it in the car. I mean, you tried to grab him. He fell down the stairs. I mean, you saw him at the bottom of the stairs. Remember, people would call 911, try to get him some help. And there's nobody else there that saw this argument, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so do you think that maybe you pushed him? It's a natural reflex. How he's shoving me, my natural reflex is to shove him back. You didn't do it on purpose.
I don't remember pushing. I remember grabbing his arm, but I don't remember pushing him in that.
But I mean, did you grab him to pull him towards you? I mean, why did you grab his arm?
I just grabbed him to get his attention.
Or, just throwing this out there, if he makes it, does he tell us something different about what happened up there?
I don't think he would have told you anything different. The only thing.
Well, here's what we're trying to figure out, Rose. This is the part that's confusing to all of us. If this is truly an accident, if you two are squabbling at the top of the stairs, he slips, falls, breaks his neck, whatever happened to him.
I think.
Well, hang on. The first natural reaction from anybody, I don't care if it's your mortal enemy, is going to be to try to get this guy for some help. The thing that I keep hearing is that you were going to turn yourself in, that, you know, if the first deputy that shows up saw him, you were going to get arrested. If this was an accident and none of that happens that way, that just tells me that if Adam doesn't perish from his injuries, that maybe he tells us a different story about what happened on that stairwell.
What I was afraid of, if Adam didn't perish on that stairwell, was that the truth about Tristan's DNA was going to come out. It came out anyway, but the first thing that was going through my head was...
Sure. So I'm closer.
Okay. Top of the stairs.
Okay.
Okay. I grabbed your arm.
Go ahead. Yeah.
And he went to push me away again.
Okay.
And I think, and this time, I blocked him.
Okay.
Foot's right there at the stairs.
Mm-hmm. So
Yeah,
you hit him?
I didn't hit him hard.
Okay.
But my hand brushed against his face.
Okay.
Down.
Did you fall down the stairs too?
No.
Okay.
Because I grabbed the guardrail.
Okay. All right.
And I just watched him fall. I don't know how many times he...
So there was enough momentum as you were swatting at him. There was enough momentum where you almost went down the stairs too. Is that? But you grabbed the guardrail. He obviously didn't have a chance to. I mean, and again, this wasn't the first go round for you two having a problem like this. The difference is this time now you have Tristan. Now he's also using Tristan as an investigative tool to figure out what's going on. You know, the key logger wasn't bad enough. Have an identical phone to yours wasn't enough. Now he's involving your son, because it's not Adam's son. You know that. He's involving your son in this mess, and this is it. You've had enough. Anybody can see how that happens. You know, I mean, we're pretty much to the point. That's what I'm trying to tell you. But in the same note,
at the beginning of that day, it was trying to cover my ass.
Well, because you've gotten away with it before, right? I mean, you were able to deny your way.
I did. I was trying to cover my ass, but then I came out.
Mm-hmm. And when that came out, Tristan's true father, I mean, you didn't tell him who the father was, right? You just told him it wasn't him.
Correct.
And obviously that sets him off to a new level than he's been at before, because he's had suspicions about infidelity before, which, you know, whatever came of them, came of them. Now he's sure. And then on top of that, we've got him now knowing that Tristan's not his. And he's mad, you're mad, and things just escalate. You know? I mean,
But my whole intent for when he was right there, I didn't want him to fall down the stairs. I just wanted to get his attention. I wanted to talk to him. That was the whole thing, was that we were mainly going to talk. That he just went back to the computer. That really pissed me off.
Well, he spent most of his life at the computer. He ignored your son because he was at the computer.
Yeah, I know that.
You know? I mean, let's call a spade. We gotta be honest here. And that made you mad too. Because I don't know any mother in the world that would prefer their husband, and even if he doesn't know at that point that the fact that he didn't know that Tristan wasn't his kind of makes it worse. Because that's your own son, and you're playing video on the computer, you're doing whatever. You know? Yeah, I mean, I can understand your frustration with him.
People are going to understand the anger here. They're going to understand it. They're going to understand if you pushed them.
Yeah, another thing that was going through my head at the same time was, hey, if he's dead, you don't have to worry about waking him up anymore. It's spending 2 hours trying to wake him up.
You guys had a tough relationship.
So again, that's something people are going to understand. What they're not going to understand is you being clear about everything else except for that one point in time. They're not going to understand that.
It was your car that you were taking him down to your mom's house in?
Correct.
His car used at all
No.
for any of it? Okay.
No, I just moved it.
What were you using? Blankets, rugs? What were you rolling them up in? I mean, what was the biggest piece that you had to get out of there by yourself? His torso? I mean,
the torso part.
Okay.
Oh, God.
tell me about it.
Well, all right. Head, arms, legs
Mm-hmm.
came off, no problem.
All right. Now,
Well,
came off. You mean it just kind of fell off?
Fell off. I mean,
Okay.
the legs fell off right about the knees.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This is the real creepy part. The torso itself. I went to lift it up once. I put it on a trash bag.
Mm-hmm.
Wrapped it up, took a blanket, lifted it up to where the sub pump was. I went upstairs, opened up the car door, back hatch. And as I'm lifting up the torso part, it hits my keys and the car alarm is going off.
No, you're doing this all at night?
Actually, I did it over. Yeah, I wrapped him up,
Mm-hmm.
lifted him up, put him in the car, and I remember my car alarm goes off, and of course I got his legs and his arms in there first, then the torso goes off. One of my neighbors came out, I shut the door, and, they were like, hey, was that your car alarm? I go, yeah. I hit the button by mistake. I thought when I was carrying him down the ramp that he was gonna slip out of me.
Mm-hmm.
Why did you think to burn him? And
Because he always wanted to be cremated. That's the one thing he wanted, was to be cremated. He didn't want a sappy funeral. He didn't want anybody to play those sad songs. He just wanted to be cremated and pretty much to have it a blast. So before anybody could see it, I took the shovel and I scooped it into the trash can. My mom came over and said, what are you doing? The fire's already out. I said, I just want to make sure that everything's out, just to make sure that, just to take care of stuff. Because there was also some nails from the wood. I go, see, there's nails. I don't want you to hit it with your lawnmower and send it flying somewhere.
It's our relationship.
So again, that's something people are going to understand. What they're not going to understand is you being clear about everything else except for that one point in time. They're not going to understand that. And then they're going to think you're trying to cover something up.
And let's be honest, we got a 5.5, almost 6 month history, 6 months tomorrow, of not really being truthful here. This is the time to lay it on the table, because we can't keep doing what we've been doing.
Anybody hearing your story is going to say, hell yeah, I would have pushed him too.
And subconsciously, I did want to push him.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so did you?
I'm going to have to say yes.
Okay.
I went to grab his arm. He went to take me away again. And with that hit on the head, it was more disoriented once I seen that he lost his footing, so this way he didn't grab the railing downstairs.
Where did you push him? Once you saw that was he trying to grab for the railing?
I still had a hold of his arm at the time.
Okay.
And it was just a final.
But you knew he was falling, so
Yeah.
you gave a final shove because you wanted him to fall down those stairs.
Yeah.
Because you were pissed.
Grabbed a bag out from the kitchen. Wiggled the bag underneath him. Still wasn't doing anything. Got him on that bag. I mean, it was one of those heavy-duty tarp, almost like what you use for lining of a water bag.
Okay. Big, thick, heavy.
Yeah. That made it a little bit easier to drag him into
Mm-hmm.
After I got him to the stairwell in the right in front of the basement, still wasn't moving anything. He didn't do anything. I actually cleared all those doors and stuff out of the stairwell, giving myself some more room. Grabbed him. He's still not moving. Got him right there. He's right there.
Mm-hmm.
There was some blood on my clothes, so I had to wash it.
Mm-hmm.
So I washed my clothes. I also bleached the bottom of the stairs.
Okay, that bottle of bleach that was in the basement.
Following a 2-week trial in October 2013, a jury in Ontario County, New York convicted Rose Chase of second-degree murder, along with additional charges connected to the killing of her husband, Adam Chase, including tampering with physical evidence. In January 2014, she was sentenced to an indeterminate prison term of 23 years to life for the murder conviction, a punishment that reflected both the seriousness and deliberate nature of the crime. The court also handed down concurrent sentences tied to the evidence tampering charge, although an appellate ruling later overturned her 2018 conviction for endangering the welfare of a child. According to the latest available reports, Rose Chase remains incarcerated at a New York State correctional facility and will become eligible for parole after serving the minimum portion of her life sentence.